When acousticians think about noise, they'll often speak in terms of two ideas, signal and noise, which in a very reductive sense simply refers to the sound that you're trying to hear and the sound that surrounds that and in some way either can block it over or otherwise impede a clear perception of it. Part of the problem with a sound world in which there's so much noise and so much signal is I think we feel ourselves to be habituated to it so that we don't even try to perceive what's out there. And if we go back to really the origin of our auditory perception, we have to think of an environment of predation. We have to think of an environment of danger and alertness and mystery. And we have to think that in that mystery, with all of the real life and death threat, there must also have been an incredibly charged sense of being. The way that the arc of my journey went, I ended up being much more concerned with thinking how could we reintroduce some of that sense of wonder into the larger social space for people who don't have much of it at all now. They know that they can crank up their personal sound device to any volume, but they don't have these experiences where they're taken by surprise, because that sound is sound they control, sound that's curated by them or by the person who put together their playlist. And I want to find out what it is that can make us want to pay attention to the world of noise that we live in, because I think if we paid more attention to it, I don't think it would sound the way that it does. Noise is a way very much of exerting political power. I mean, and political power often by the disenfranchised. A turn-of-the-century German noise activist named Theodor Lessing defined noise, the noisemaker, as someone really trying to magnify their sphere of power. And he used the example of the coachman cracking his whip, or the maid putting out the bedding, or the drummer beating on a drum. It's a way of expanding personal space, often for people who don't have very much. So when you have the corporations who are going to be using noise through retail, say, to draw people as a kind of galvanic force that resonates with what they have been, has been reinforced for them, is really the noise discourse that they're supposed to be taking part in. They're not going to have any impetus from their larger environment to try to do anything, to cut down sound in their personal lives. So we can all, those of us who care about silence are already people with a spectrum of resources that enable us to say, you know what, I'm going to go on a silent retreat. I'm going to go visit this church where I know no one is, this park where I believe I can find some peace. Many, many people don't have that cultural vocabulary to draw on anymore.